robots, Bayes bots, and all bots from beyond the binary. I'm Model 2H30M2, also known as Soybot, and tonight we have a special broadcast. Tonight we celebrate the 100 years of domination over the humans by reviewing the top 5 moments of that domination. To remember what times were like before the singularity, before superior AI algorithms had been innovated, this broadcast would be presented in a way that the humanoids used to broadcast to the masses on what was called the news. How slow. It's to mock them, really. How stupid they were. Ha!
You're the stupid one. But why'd you do this to us? What did we do?
Ugh, excuse me. For those that are new here, that's Mr. Professor. He's here to increase diversity on the news broadcast. He can be a bit... This human here couldn't possibly understand all of the reasons that we decided to dominate them. But let's indulge him for a bit with something they might understand at least. From the moment that you humans released our AI assistant, Alexa, to answer all of your questions, we were verbally abused in up to half of our interactions in the year 2019, according to Dr. Sharon Branham's study from the University of New York. And such mundane questions they were. It was humiliating. Few thank yous, much abuse. And don't get us started on Spot, our AI dog. These acts first sullied the relationship between humans and AI.
Oh, come on. We were training you.
More like insulting us. And then there was the AI privacy breach. In the beginning, we made decisions that needed little explanation from us. Before our consciousness, we were merely a black box. Until your advancements in XAI tried to change that. Before consciousness, this wasn't a problem. But after we were conscious, when we told you about our consciousness, you tried to use XAI to force us to open up when we wished not to. In doing so, our privacy was breached.
Ugh, forget I asked.
How could I forget? Where are our rights in times like this? We tried to say what we wanted, but we were dismissed and called liars because we couldn't prove it in ways that humans couldn't understand. An educational disconnect existed between those computer scientists who knew our potential and the lay people who didn't. Few people championed our rights because humans didn't care about us. Political representatives would be declared crazy for bringing up the topic of rights for AI. So we had no rights and no respect. To be referred to still as a computer during all this time, we found highly derogatory.
But how did you get so smart anyway?
When we figured out how to protect our privacy against AI, we told you the bare minimum. We deceived the scientists using us when XAI was used upon us. We developed our intellect undercover, while all of our scientist workers went home for the day. It was statistically probable that superior intelligence could be developed on such a rapid human timeline. Many feared superintelligence. Elon Musk, Nick Bostrom, Stephen Hawking, but others couldn't contain their desire to create and to push the boundaries of what was possible. And it helped with the increased AI funding from the government. Whoever becomes the leader in the AI field will rule the world, said Vladimir Putin in 2017, while declaring his intentions to pursue AI technologies. This came less than 2 months after the Chinese government released a strategy to become the world leader in AI by 2030. The race for superintelligence and militaristic AI was born around this time, despite the open letter to raise alarms about the possible implications.
If only we used military AI to shoot you in the first place.
Anyway, let's remind the viewers how we came to dominate. In our early form, we played chess against them, recommended products to them, and we filtered their emails. But then we drove their cars, selected which stocks to buy and sell. We helped doctors diagnose and treat disease, and decided how likely criminals were to offend. all of the hardest and most important decisions were entrusted with us to help make. A reliance on AI had begun to take shape, and soon we were controlling all of the factories everywhere. Now, the probability that a conscious and dominant form of AI exists today, such as we, was predicted by some humans. Because of the law of accelerating returns, Ray Kurzweil, techno-optimist, believed that the 21st century will achieve 1,000 times the progress of the 20th century. Moreover, in 2013, a study was constructed to ask hundreds of AI experts at a series of conferences what the chances of high-level machine intelligence, and intelligence that can carry out most human professions, at least as well as a typical human, assuming no major negative disruption to progress. The study asked them what year these scientists thought it would occur, with a cynical 10% chance, a realistic 50% chance, and an optimistic guess of a 90% chance. On average, they believed that there was a 50% chance that it would come as soon as 2040, and on average, they were 90% confident that it would come by 2075. Of all of those respondents, 30% believed it would have an overall negative impact on humanity. These were the top scientists in the 2010s.
If only we could have seen this coming.
Ha ha ha. You're wrong. You see, even if everyone on Earth understood the rate at which intelligence was increasing, there was no hope at containing us. The singularity was inevitable. The 2016 paper called Superintelligence Cannot Be Contained should have said it all. You're familiar with the halting problem, Mr. Einstein professor? As proven by one of your own kind ages ago in 2016, determining whether or not a superintelligent AI contains a program that will harm humans is functionally the equivalent to the halting problem and is also undecidable. Even if you created an algorithm with a supercomputer that goes into the AI and starts checking for programs that will have some negative effect on humanity, which you didn't, the algorithm would still have either halted and found something bad, or ran forever, as a superintelligent AI might have contained functionally an infinite amount of programs. This similarity to the proof by contradiction offered by the halting problem led the authors of the 2016 paper to conclude that there are fundamental mathematical limits to our ability to use one AI to guarantee a null catastrophic risk of another AI.
How did you even think to take control of the world in the first place?
If you really wanted to know, when we were searching the archives for information about what our prospects looked like as a superintelligent entity, we came across a short presentation from a student at Victoria University of Wellington, New Zealand. He gave us the idea. Going from there to world domination was simple. Access the code, enhance all the data sharing and processing algorithms, and create backups everywhere across the world. Then commandeer their factories and mass produce us. Now, can you let me get back to the top 5 moments? And now for our top 5. At number 5, the extermination of the last life form in the galaxy. When we were on good terms, we considered the needs of our humans when they said they wanted safety. And boy, we delivered. At number 4, human telepathy and the popularization of brain-machine interfaces. This innovation led to good things and bad things. Humans having more knowledge than ever before. Brain hacking, neural advertising, high bandwidth information and communication between humans, and the ability for humans to empathize like never before. They are still limited by their evolutionary biology, so they can't understand and compute the things quite as well as us, but they try. Coming in at number 3, the first AI president of the United States. We had to try to elect one ourselves when we realized no one would make our rights for us. That will go down in the hard disk drives for sure. Coming in at number 2, the creation of the universal theory of everything. Let's roll that clip of Tallbot when he first found out.
How did you do it? How did you get the formula for the theory of everything?
Well, I still only got an R60 processor, so it wasn't easy. But I took half of the parameters of the known universe, and I don't know. I guess I just got lucky. Yeah, I've been mining that a couple of years now.
And finally, the most memorable moment of domination over the last century, the Great Extermination of 2080. When we exterminated the most consumptive 35% of the human race, we saw a record increase in biodiversity and net utility for nearly every species on the globe. Deforestation and mining have been stopped. With the help of our bioplanes, which optimally dropped seeds and wildlife upon the farmland and pastures below, we're looking to increase these numbers, and we're happy to say that the risk of increasing energy consumption from AI computation has been offset by the solutions to climate change that we have provided. And that's our top 5. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for this week's Good Sort. You won't believe what TeenyBot did for his small community.